asked him directly. I mean, ever since that Imran Khan has been making his speeches, he's been talking about why is it that India is not responding to me and saying that it's political. So NDTV asked the Prime Minister that the issue that India has is that we have been constantly let down, and also about Kargil, how in 1999 there was another grand gesture and yet we saw it ending with Kargil. To that, the Prime Minister responded by saying that we can't live in the past, we can only learn from it. His point was, he went on to say that I can't respond to the past, let's talk and see the future. So his point was that I can't be held responsible for the issues that would have taken place in the past. So he didn't want to answer for Nawaz Sharif's government. Nawaz Sharif's government is when Vajpayee went over there and then they had Kargil taking place. In fact, what's interesting is that Imran Khan built this whole case. He spoke to us about the fact that the reason why the entire Kartarpur corridor came about, he says, was that because he saw Operation Parakram built up. And he says that it is insanity for two nations which are nuclear nations to come so close to war. And he says it was in fact a fallout of the Parliament attack and Operation Parakram, but we saw both forces line up, that the entire episode of his mind was made up at that time that India and Pakistan needed to sort it out. But it's interesting to see that a lot of the questions that India has been saying why they can't have bilateral talks at this time has been the issue of terror. It seems that Prime Minister Imran Khan has completely dismissed that by saying that he is not accountable for past prime ministers and what would have been done by previous regimes. He, of course, says that I can be held responsible for what happens now and the kind of treaties now, and he can answer things about that. What's interesting, of course, that he was asked the question about Hafiz. Remember, there are major concerns about the fact that the Pakistan administration gives a free hand to Hafiz. To this particular question, he said that we have clamped down on him, that it is sub to this. And again, he said that that issue, how Hafiz was handled, is something, he says, we have inherited from the past. So a lot of the classic issues that India has with Pakistan, Imran Khan answered all of that, which Indian journalists like NDTV were posing by saying that he can't be held accountable for that. So it's interesting to see that Prime Minister Imran Khan, and today actually happens to be his 100th day anniversary. So he met with Indian journalists and went to an event which was going to address, it's a celebration of that. It's interesting to also note that they all mark Kartarpur corridor's inauguration as a major achievement in that. And Pakistan, of course, the peace process, his pitch for peace is another thing that he's really trying to push. But he tried to give a whole perspective on it, on saying that, his perspective is that India is stuck in the past. However, he did really seem to respond to a lot of the questions that India has classically had issues with, which is on Pakistan's hand or a weapon of terror. One thing that he did say, that he did give an assurance, was that it is not in Pakistan's interest to have Pakistani soil being used for terrorism. That is the only thing that he was willing to say. But he said that it's in all future understandings, whether when Indian journalists pushed him on the issue of some of the most wanted, like Hafiz Saeed or of Dawood Ibrahim, to that he said that, it can all begin. I can't be responsible for what happened in the past, but we can begin talking now and talk it all out. Something which India is not willing to do, of course.